Our next guest says he thinks Israel should seriously consider focusing on destroying nuclear capabilities, which would only benefit the U.S. and its allies. Joining us right now is American Foreign Policy Council Senior Vice President Ilan Berman. Good morning to you. So we have this report on one end. We have Bibi Netanyahu on the other end, effectively saying maybe we'll do whatever we want. And then we have you. What do you think should happen, and what do you think will happen?
Right. So we're trying to triangulate between three different things here. First of all, it's clear that Israel has to retaliate because they can't afford to enshrine the current status quo. Right. Israel and Iran have fought what is effectively a shadow war, a Cold War for the last 2 decades. But this has been typified by targeting of proxies, targeting of potential individuals. But up until this year, there's never been this direct country-on-country violence. We've now seen Iran fire ballistic missiles for the second time on October 1st. And Israel cannot afford for this status quo to be enshrined, where the Iranian regime feels emboldened to attack Israeli population centers directly from its territory without fearing some sort of retaliation. So that's absolutely coming. Now, the question of what shape that comes in, I think, is the operative one. It's very clear that the United States is, for all the right reasons, very concerned about the potential for escalation, the potential for a wider war. But there's also the nagging question of the Iranian nuclear program. This is something that has bedeviled U.S. policymakers and policymakers in Jerusalem for about a quarter century now. And Israel has never had a greener light from the international community, not to destroy the Iranian nuclear program, but at least to do something to set it back a little bit, because the real danger, both for Israel and for the United States, is this regime that's currently in power in Tehran getting this capability at this time.
So here's the question. If you try to destroy any part of this, and some of it's above ground, a lot of it is below ground, A, is how successful you think such an effort would be, and B, what kind of retaliation then Iran takes?
Right. So those are two, I think, very important questions. On the first front, I think it's a little bit of a straw man to say that the nuclear program is so complex, so distributed that Israel can't get at the whole thing. That's, by the way, absolutely true. But that's not the job. The job here, and in past historical iterations, remember, Israel is the only country in the world to have denuclearized 2 other states in the past, both in Iraq in the 1980s and in Syria in the 2000s. They were not getting rid of the whole program. They were just demolishing enough infrastructure to set the program back. And I think that's going to be the job here as well. It's not a wholesale sweep. It's what the Israelis call mowing the lawn.
Okay,
now,
so let's say they go and do this, and they're successful. If you are the leadership in Iran, what kind of retaliatory efforts do you therefore take against Israel, against potentially allies? I mean, one of the things we're hearing is that Iran is calling the leaders of other countries in the Middle East, including Saudi and others, saying, you let these folks use your airspace in any way, we're coming after you too.
Right. And I think that's exactly what the Iranians should do in terms of trying to deter Israeli freedom of action. Right. That's certainly something that they want to do. But what's very clear is that the Iranian nuclear program and the potential for this program to be weaponized by the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism is a threat not just to Israel, but it's also a threat to the countries of the region. So I think what we're likely to see if the Israelis do move is a lot of public condemnation, just like they got in the 1980s when they moved against the Iraqi nuclear program, but a lot of private congratulations, just like they got back then.
And just speak for just a moment. And look, everything's a trade-off in life. Everything's a risk, right? That is, we're all just playing trade-offs here and going back and forth on the risk. What is the risk that there is a meaningful retaliatory effort against Israel or somewhere else where lots and lots of people get killed?
Right. No. That's absolutely a real risk. There's no margin in minimalizing this. But the reality exists, right? The reality of the threat posed by the Iranian nuclear program exists. The problem that I think the Israelis need to solve for, and that U.S. policymakers have to keep in their head, is the fact that the Iranian nuclear program and the very, very likely possibility that this regime is trying to acquire an offensive nuclear capability, and this regime is not a good regional actor, is a threat that exists beyond the current Middle East conflict, right?
Do you think they do this? If they do this, do you think that they do this before or after the U.S. election? And do you think that should play or will play any role in this?
I think it will, for sure. But I don't think it should. And for a very simple reason. Every president of both parties since the Iranian nuclear program broke out into the open in 2003 has said that Iran shall not, should not, and cannot go nuclear. I think that that priority still remains. The question is, what are we prepared to do about it, and what are our allies prepared to do about it? That's something that the next president, whoever it is, will have to confront when they come into office. And what Israel is doing has to be seen in that context as well.
Ilan, we heard that because Israel is going to retaliate, that Iran knows they got to move, and that they were right on the cusp anyway, and they could do it in a matter of weeks if they had to. Did they? And if that is true, that there's a fixed amount of time that Israel has to move to prevent that from happening, aren't we there already? We're already there. Do we know?
I think so. Yeah. No, I think that's absolutely right. And in fact, what we've seen over the last year has actually, I think, reinforced for Iranian officials that they have to move, and they have to move quickly, irrespective of what Israel does. Because in the last year, since the horrific campaign of terror carried out by Hamas on October 7th, the Iranians have figured out that they tried to change the game in the region, but they haven't been able to do it in conventional terms. In fact, the U.S. military is back in the greatest force strength since the Second Gulf War, and they need some sort of game changer. And that's why more and more Israeli officials are convinced that Iran's about to break out and sprint for the bomb. That's the context that they're operating in.